Welcome to another edition of Lay Da Vinci Code, Coders Anonymous. So in this edition of Lay Da Vinci Code, we'll dive into some React fundamentals. And in this particular, the particular React fundamental we're going to dive into in this episode is going to be JSX conditionals, if statements that do work. Because apparently, if-else logic cannot be inserted into JSX, but I believe it can be called. It can be called upon. Well, let's examine this in our app.js, from which we rendered. Something got rendered based on a condition. Image being the first parameter. And then this node, this HTML node being a second parameter. Let's take a look. I'm going to the if.js file. That same node is being rendered via this file here. Admittedly, so my React skills right now are down in the dumps. I'm currently consulting as a business analyst, and I have been for the past 90 days, at least 3 months. So yeah, my React skills are they're down there right now. So let's just dive into this challenge and see what I came up with. I did solve both steps in this challenge. So let's see if I could talk it through with you all. Okay, so JSX conditionals, if statements that do work. How can you write a conditional if you can't inject an if statement into JSX? Well, one option is to write an if statement and not inject it into JSX. Look at if.js, that's the file we're within right now. Follow the if statement all the way down, all the way from line 6 down to line 18. If.js works because the words if and else are not injected in between JSX tags. It said that this logic works. Our if statement and our else, these terms. If.js works because the words if and else are not injected in between JSX tags. Okay, so the scope of this JSX ends right here on line 11. So the word else, technically or programmatically, is not in between the word. It's not in between any of our JSX tags. The JSX expression closes on line 11. So that's why it says this logic works. And this logic working is corroborated by what we see on the left here, and corroborated by this check mark, but it's also corroborated by this image being present. Because this logic reads, okay, firstly, we have a React import here. We have a React DOM import, our React DOM, okay. We have a variable declaration here, message. We have the start of our if logic. Okay, so if user, which is an object, I'm going to assume, then we targeted the age property within our user object. If our user age is greater than or equal to drinking age, a variable defined elsewhere. So we have compile.js. Let's see what the compile.js has in it. Just for the nothing that we have a direct interest in, I think. So yeah, so nothing in there for us to glance at per se. So the heart of it all is in the app.js and the if.js. Let's open this HTML file real quick. And I believe this is the structure of our view. What we're looking at here on the right hand side, this imagery of this cute puppy with the perfect pose, So we have a main element, a semantic element, and that main element is injected with an attribute, an ID attribute of app. Then we have a script source. Then we pull in some logic. Okay, yeah, this is like this platform. This is specific. This is platform specific logic, I would say. Okay, so we see sort of the dynamic. We see how this image got rendered here, because if you look at app, right? Let's go to if.js. Our if logic. We're saying if our user object's age is greater than, or it's at least equal to, the drinking age, then this h1 element, hey, check out this alcoholic beverage. It's funny because this logic doesn't seem to have, well, this story here, hey, check out this alcoholic beverage, this h1, has nothing to do with what we rendered. And then we have else logic. Okay, hey, check out these earrings I got at Claire's. Okay, then we have our React DOM.render method. Our first parameter is message, declared here and defined here based upon some logic. Okay, and if the logic, depending on the direction of the logic fell, this message would have been rendered to the view. And or this would have been rendered to the view, or this would have been rendered to the view. Hey, check out these earrings I got at Claire's. Message, document, and then we target we manipulate the UI based on some logic via DOM, document object model manipulation. DOM manipulation. The document document, I believe, is an object. It's an object, a vanilla JavaScript object that we parse through via .syntax. We use the get element by ID method, and we call our element app. Okay, so let's take a look at the app.js file and the logic that exists within here. So in here we have a function, coin toss. Okay, and this function returns a random number. And if that number is less than 0.5, a heads or a tails will be the result. I don't know if I read that ternary logic correctly. I have to refresh myself on some ternary logic. Yeah, so I work at I work for a multinational fintech consultancy, management consultancy. A fintech-oriented change management consultancy, a management consultancy. So my primary skill is software engineering, but again, I've been immersed in business analysis the past 3 months, diversifying my skills, so no complaints there. But I am, not in things are slipping as a result, so hence the reason for this me going through this Code Academy challenge with you all right here, right now. So we have another variable declaration, pics. Okay, it's an object, it's defined. Kitty, we have doggy. Now we have image, another variable declaration. Okay, and our image gets defined here. Okay, and it's based on logic. Okay, so yeah, so our logic dictates what our React DOM render method renders to the view, and it's based on some logic. It's based on a coin toss, and that coin toss if it's equal to heads, based on this logic on line 6, if the value that our math.random method generates is less than 0.5, we're gonna get heads or tails. I think I'm reading that correctly. Please feel free, anyone, to let me know if I'm not reading that correctly. My engineering skills have slipped. Well, React certainly has taken a slip. I haven't done any React work since, man, a long time. This entire year I haven't done anything React. The last time I did anything React was probably sometime last year. I think in the last quarter of last year, or maybe in the first half of last year is probably the last time I did React work. So, or no, the 2020 maybe, going back to 2020. So probably it's been over 2 years since I've done anything React. But yeah, so that's where we are. Okay, so based on some if logic defined within our HTML file, no, incorrect, our JS file. Give me one moment, everyone. Yeah, I'm not. I always lock it.
Where's the bathroom?
It's in there. Straight ahead on the left. Sorry about that, everyone. So coin toss heads. Okay, so the logic within this function dictates what image gets rendered to the view, and in this case, our kitty logic didn't pan out. You know, to be totally honest, obviously I got it correct. You know, I solved the challenges, etc. But I could honestly say I don't fully understand. I don't fully understand. So obviously my React skills I need to knock the rust off, to say the least. So thank you for joining me on this edition of this very raw and uncut edition of Late Da Vinci Code. Thank you for joining me. Let me know how you feel with a thumbs up or a subscription. Last I checked, to subscribe is absolutely free, so feel free in doing so. Thank you again, everyone. Good day or good night.